Are you thinking about selling your home? Well, you can call your real estate agent, or you can watch this video for 5 tips from a Chicago real estate attorney before you sell your home. Hi, Barry here with the LawFull channel. On this channel, you're going to find short videos on the legal topics that affect your life, like this one on real estate law. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel, and if you have any questions or comments, reach out to me. If I can't help you, I'll find someone who can. So we are in downtown Chicago again today to talk with Chicago real estate attorney Junilla Sledziewski. Janel, why don't you tell us a little bit about your practice?
Sure. So I'm the owner of Sledziewski Law. We're a boutique real estate practice here in the Chicago Loop. I represent anyone buying or selling property. So individuals, businesses, investors. I work with all sides of the transaction. I also represent condominium associations that have 30 units or less. And I also handle litigation on behalf of a variety of small businesses.
So Junilla, I was looking at your website, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes below. I noticed that you had a blog on 5 tips for anybody considering selling their home. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. My number 1 tip for people selling a home, and this is particular to condo associations, is to know your association before you list the property. Know what's going on, know if there are special assessments coming down, are there any issues with the building, for example, water leaks or something like that, that you need to be aware of, and disclose that to your potential buyers ahead of time. These are things that can really cause a lot of snags during your transaction, and so if you haven't been to a board meeting in years, now's a good time to start doing that.
So the second suggestion you make in your blog article is that sellers should actually own their property. What does that mean?
Right. In some situations, if you acquired the property in an unusual way, for example, through an inheritance or a quit claim deed from somebody, you want to make sure that all of that was done properly before you go to sell the property. Because if you discover these issues after you're already under contract, it can create a delay or a snag in the closing, which no one likes. So just want to make sure you get out ahead of any ownership or title issues before you sell your property. So Barry, my third tip is to know your closing costs. In Illinois, sellers are responsible for paying title insurance, for paying the real estate brokers, for paying certain taxes and transfer fees. There may be certain assessments owed to the association prior to closing, maybe unpaid taxes, special assessments, things of that nature. So you just want to make sure you know your bottom line before you go under contract and get out ahead of that as early as you can, so that there are not any surprises at the closing table.
So Junilla, we're attorneys. So from a legal perspective, are there any disclosures you have to give prior to selling a property?
Sure, Barry. So in Illinois, there are statutory disclosures that you have to make. So for example, if you know about asbestos on your property, or perhaps cracks in the foundation, or consistent flooding in your basement, those are things that you want to definitely talk to your real estate attorney about, whether you have to disclose those to a future buyer. If you fail to disclose something and then the buyer discovers it and it causes them problems, you could potentially be on the hook to pay their damages, but also their attorney's fees involved in getting you to pay.
So in a big city, there's going to be a lot of single-family residences or homes in addition to townhouses and condominiums. Do you deal with those issues, or how do those come up?
Yeah, that actually leads into my 5th point, Barry. In the city of Chicago, you're going to be required to provide a survey to your buyer, which would show the lot lines of your property and whether there are any encroachments. So an encroachment could mean perhaps that your fence extends 1 foot over onto the neighboring property, or maybe your front porch extends beyond the city mandated setback for front porches. Things like that are pretty common in the city, these old buildings and old homes that have been here for hundreds of years. So you just want to be aware of whether your property has any of those characteristics, so you can get out ahead of it during your closing. Some buyers will try to leverage those things to squeeze a little bit more money out of you during the closing. So just be aware of that and talk to your attorney about the best way to handle it.
So, is selling a home something that somebody can do on their own, or do they need an attorney for that?
You would need an attorney to perform a title search to make sure that you own clear title to the property, and then also to issue title insurance to your buyer. So technically, yes, you can do it on your own, and certainly there's a lot of information out there, but it is a very complicated legal process, and it's a large amount of money at issue, and so you should definitely consult with an attorney.
So Junilla, thanks a lot for sharing some advice for people thinking about selling their house. Now it's time for your take on the law. Did you try to sell your house on your own? How was it? How did it work out for you? Tell us about it in the comments below. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. If you like what you saw, please consider subscribing to our channel. And if you have a question on real estate law or on personal injury, which is what I do, please feel free to reach out to us. If Janilla or I can't help you, we'll find someone who can.